Hi, Stuart Walter, the athlete's secret weapon, the choice of 50 world and Olympic champions now. Now, what I find with most athletes is their ability to avoid the reality. So what that means is there's no honest recognition of who they are right now. They know what they want to achieve, they know what they have done, but then they come back. And I do this myself in my profession when I'm amongst a group of other colleagues in hypnosis, even more so recently at a national or international conference in New Zealand. When you're surrounded by people, there's a lot of hype, masking. There's a lot of how everything is great. It's not until you start asking different questions that you actually start drilling down into the honesty, the position, the internals, the struggles. And most people avoid this moment because it feels confronting. This is a great thing. If it's feeling confronting, what that means is you probably suppressed too much that now it's starting to come up and it's starting to go, oh, I've got to do something. And this is great because you can't build onto something that's false to start with. If you're not open, honest, and recognizing the current situation, how can you grow? How can you create the stability to be able to leverage off that for growth, personally, professionally? So when you accept your position, it removes a lot of external resistance, a lot of internal resistance. This is not settling. This is just creating that space where you can change. See, the only reason or the way you can change is through acceptance, through acknowledgement, throughout awareness, or with awareness. Yet, so many people are kind of pushing. And this is what I find with a lot of these self-imposed gurus out there, these influencers, these push, grind, hustle people. They're constantly pushing, but I find with athletes, the best or elite performers in sport and business, and also in the arts, slowing down, stopping is the best activity you can do, because that resets the brain. It slows the nervous system. It balances the hormones. It reduces the adrenals to allow you to find that space within your mind that will go, right, stop, reset. Now, I work a lot with motor racing clients around the world. I call it the pit stop. Probably should do as well for any performer out there. Just go to the pit stop. It's just stop. Because as the cars roll down the pits at 40 or 80 kilometers an hour, you can't change a tire at that speed. You can't refuel at that speed. You got to physically stop. Take a breath, refuel, refocus, reload, whoosh, go again. And that's essential performance, essential for performance. It's the fact that I can do a 250 kilometer race on one set of tires, one load of fuel quite easily. But why do they stop? Why do they change tires? Why do they refuel? Well, they want performance. And if they want performance, stopping is essential to performance. Otherwise, what has to happen to achieve the end result is you have to minimize energy. You have to minimize the speed, therefore the wear and tear on the body. And this is when you accept that this is what needs to happen, then you'll find performance is going to increase. Purely because it has to. Because you're going to have the energy, the focus, and the fuel to move forward. So when you decide that success means stopping, success means you take control. Because you probably find you might turn up to training and your coach says, do this, do this, do this, do this. So you do. When was the last time you actually sat with a coach and went, I need to do this, this, and this? Factor this in. Because who's working for who? You working for the coach or the coach working for you? So trying to fit in systems that don't align because you don't know what the base rate is. You don't know what that structure is because it's not open and honest. Then how can you build on it? When you come back, be open, be honest, and go, right, this is the current position. No, it's normal. So high performance thinking. That's what needs to happen, not survival thinking. And I would say 95% of athletes are in survival thinking because they're drained. They feel guilty about missing a training session. With so many coaches I work with, collaborate with through the athletes or through separate or in teams, every coach is exactly the same. We would prefer to have a very coachable athlete, someone who's very able to manage what we give them, someone who's going to push us back, because let's face it, a coach is it's basically educated guess about what needs to happen. It needs some input from the athlete, but if the athlete is too scared to voice their opinion and their feelings, it all comes crumbling down. So to stand out, you're going to have to grow physically, mentally. This is where the truth is that foundation that helps you grow. When your identity is clear in who you are and where you're going, it's easy to align within the mind and the body. But if you're creating false expectations here and over-exaggerating what can be done over here, how do you line up? So everything that we do is a process. The way I work is a process. Every situation, every process I've created with helping elite athletes, it's unique, it's fast because it's future driven. It's focused on the human, not the athlete. How do we increase you? How do we increase your performance so you as an athlete achieve better? So when I work with people, I'm not aiming at the athlete. I'm aiming at the human. How does this person need to change to get those results? So when this foundation is set, it determines everything, and that's what we follow. So when this is solid, progress compounds and it steps on top again, building up. Small increments at a time. When we stop this, it feels harder to get going again. And I've done this with so many athletes. Okay, they keep pushing, thinking, oh, I don't want to stop. But again, we come back to that pit stop analogy. When you stop, then you refuel, then you can go faster and harder again. Think about it. Because the way our human brain works, don't forget, you're only listening to this and understanding at the conscious level. You only know yourself at the conscious level. It was the last 20 years. In July 2026 will be 20 years I've been in business. So I understand the human mind. I understand what it takes to get the amazing athletes to that next level and beyond. The same processes that are available to you, it's all in there. Let's face it, it's all up in here. It's all in your thinking. You just have to consider your best ever results. Remember that time you've been in the zone, or as they call it these days, the flow state, where everything just seemed easy, seemed natural? Guess what? That's where you need to be. Trust that. If you did that every time you went out, how would your performances be? Consistent and amazing. I'm Stuart Walter, the athlete's secret weapon. Be awesome.